Hey everyone, Michael Anthony here. Van Halen, Chickenfoot, Sammy in the Circle. But anyway, you're listening to the only podcast that is dedicated to breaking down the entire Van Halen catalog one track at a time. And the podcast will rock. Ow!
Hello, baby!
Welcome, one and all in one, and everything in between. You know how it goes around here. You have joined us for a new edition of And the Podcast Will Rock. That's right. Welcome back to the show. It's going to be a different show for you this time around, and we'll get to that. I, of course, am your co-host, Mark Kamier. With me, as always, Corey Morissette. Corey, what have you signed me in? What am I in for this show?
I have no idea. We're just going to have some fun tonight. I was kind of working on the schedule, and we only have 3 songs left on the wheel, and we have 4 live shows, and then we have the wrap-up show. So it's we got to kind of have to manufacture something in there, and I'm looking at the rankings every week, and some of these just absolutely baffle me. So I thought, why don't we do a revisited episode and just kind of talk about some of the songs we already covered, why they're ranking the way they are on our audience poll, and maybe put up some new polls for a few of these songs and see if we can get these numbers a little more realistic, because there's some songs that Mark and I and our patrons have pointed out are way too low than what they need to be. And there's a couple of songs that are really great, but maybe a bit too high. So we decided we're going to bring in an all-star panel of patrons. We have the one and only Brad Gould, who's actually zooming in from a beach in Hawaii right now. It's great that he was able to do that for us. Michael Griffith is just always on my Zoom. Whenever I log into Zoom, Michael Griffin's there. So
there he is.
He just happened to be here. Scott Monroe, of course, the host and the brains behind Regarding Van Halen 3. And we all know that guy down there in the if we're playing Hollywood Squares, he's kind of in the Nipsey Russell Square, bottom left there. Chaz Charles is here to join us too. We might have a Tom Armbruster appearance. We might have a Kevin Brown appearance. We kind of left it wide open.
We should probably put Chaz in the Paul Lind Square.
I was going to say,
true, yeah.
Nipsey Russell.
We're going way back on that one.
Yeah, Paul Lind. Paul Lind. All right.
Just be Templeton and all.
Oh, my God.
Good call, Mark. We'll
Who's
put
the
him in
other
Paul
guy?
Lind's
Yeah.
Square.
We got the glasses and the hair.
Charles Nelson Riley.
Charles.
That's Kevin Brown. If I ever met, that's Kevin Brown.
Absolutely.
If we have any listeners that are under 30 years old, they're like, what in the hell are these guys talking
Who
about?
the hell are they talking about? God. We come from a time when celebrity roasts were actually funny.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So long ago. Those days have come and gone.
Long gone. Yes.
And actually, as we speak, we have a Tim Armbruster trying to get his camera working as we speak. That's why he's not here yet. But
Tim Armbuster. Yeah.
Is it Tim? That's the doppelganger. We can't let in the doppelganger. But if it's Tom,
see
he's
you,
cool.
Tim.
And to answer his question in the
there he
chat, no, we can't see you.
He's an enchanter.
Can't see him, but we see a box that says he's there.
Tim the Enchanter.
Yep.
Timmy the Enchanted.
The Armbuster. Look out.
That's right. All right. Well, what do you say we get cracking here, Mark? Maybe let's talk about the songs that you and I thought, these numbers are really, really low, and we need to bump them up and do another poll on, because when we covered, especially mine, it was way back when. And a lot of things happen, right? You got the trolls, you got the cult of Mariano was around back then, skewing results, horseshit like that. But this song we just covered on a live ranking show, and it was the number 1 show as rated by our patrons. There's Santa Claus. How's it going, Tim Armbruster? Can't hear you, buddy, but we can see. At least the ladies will be logging on
it's
now.
Progress.
Yeah. Anyways,
some progress.
The song I had picked that I wanted to revisit here tonight was Panama, because currently
the genesis, if you will, to the listeners that don't realize, Panama is not ranked as high as Corey and I both agree it should be, and this has become such an atrocity punishable by severe lashings that Corey decided to hell with it. We're doing a show and we're rectifying this mistake.
Pretty much. And that was the whole genesis of the show, because Panama we did way back in episode 19.
Yeah. Wow.
And its numbers normally wouldn't be that bad. 90.7% What Dreams Are Made Of, 9.3% The Dream Is Over, which is actually one of the lowest rankings on the 1984 record. If you look at the actual rankings, Hot for Teachers #1, Panama is all the way down at number 6. And to me, and that's a great record, a very tough one to rank. But to me, that's kind of criminal, because Panama is my all-time favorite Van Halen record. And I know I got a lot of people. Ruddy Rutherford, if you're listening to this, my good friend Ruddy Rutherford, kind of discovered our podcast through the Ultimate Catalog Clash and then Kevin Brown's podcast. Not the biggest Van Halen fan, but he thought because I was on it, he would check it out. He does not get the appeal of Panama. So that's kind of the first question I wanted to throw to the panel here. How can we convince a guy like Ruddy Rutherford that Panama is actually worth the listen?
Mm-hmm. My only suggestion is, well, actually, it's not even so much a suggestion. It's a question that I have for the individual. Do you even Van Halen, bro?
Yeah, I don't think he does.
Because if you do, then this shouldn't be an issue. We shouldn't even be having this conversation. Because Panama, I think we all agreed. And I think a lot of people that even that didn't chime in their votes on the rankings would agree. Panama is kind of quintessential Van Halen, at least in my brain it is.
How about you, Brad? What are your thoughts on Panama?
Well, to your friend Ruddy, there's no accounting for taste, right? I mean, in the end, it is all subjective. And the old phrase though is what assholes are like opinions. Everybody has one. And I mean, it's a fantastic song. It's a driving beat. I was listening to the live show this week, and I mean, it's the one thing that distinguished it from Hot for Teacher. Hot for Teacher has amazing drum solos, two amazing guitar solos, and somebody said it's each piece, but Panama, it's all of it together the whole time. It's a showcase piece for the band, not a showcase piece for each player. And then on top of that, add a Ferrari, right? There's a Ferrari exhaust sound. So, I was thinking about that. What else has Eddie done? The drill. He's done a drill. He's done a Ferrari. I don't know what other crazy sounds he has, but for crying out loud, if you don't like Panama, rock isn't your thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have a Kevin Brown in the chat. I was hoping he would jump on the call because he knows Ruddy Rutherford and he knows his musical taste a lot better than I do. And I wanted to talk with him about why Ruddy dislikes Panama so much, because to me, it's the quintessential Van Halen song. It's a fun party rock tune with every musical accompaniment played absolutely perfectly. I'm a sucker for car imagery in a song. Sure, it gets a little creepy when Dave is reaching between his legs to ease the seat back, but I could look over that. It's got the greatest hang in rock history with Ain't Gonna Stop Me Now. It's got the greatest hard stop in rock history. I mean, when he says I don't like Panama, it's like, what is there not to like? Do you not like guitars?
Yeah.
Do you not like drums?
That's why I say, do you even Van Halen?
Yeah,
because
like killer vocals,
Panama's, one of their top gold standard tracks that they've ever put out, and I would argue it's a gold standard track in rock, just in rock in general.
Yeah, amen, Mark. Yeah,
I echo what Brad said. It's just like maybe rock's just not actually your thing, because I don't understand how you couldn't get the appeal of Panama.
Listen to that guitar.
Call yourself a Van Halen fan.
Pablo Cruz and the Doobie Brothers are not, the same camp. That's what we're talking about. So,
I think I'd want to know also, has he seen the video that came up, during the 1984 show? And that's, I think for so many of us fans that is so intrinsically tied to the song as well. And it's just so much great humor. It is quintessential Van Halen.
It's quintessential.
In that video too. So I'd be curious to know if that is playing a role here. And again, it comes up all the time, and it came up at the live show. Is the overplayed factor at work here for this guy? I don't know, but it just I really shake my head when that comes up, because I don't think the overplaying factor should really determine how great a song is or not. But I know that does weigh for a lot of people.
Well, I agree totally. I think Scott Everett in our Discord server today brought that up. He's really sick of that argument. And I know whenever I try and rank a song, I try and put all that aside. Like how many times I've heard of it and actually graded on its merits. Sometimes it's tough. But for Panama, it's not, because I could listen to the song 100 times a day. And I've listened to it already a dozen times today. Listening to it right now, still tapping my toes, right? So how can we convince a guy like Ruddy Rutherford to give Panama like another chance?
To what Scott said about the video, I mean, I would sit around watching MTV waiting for that biplane to start the beginning of the Panama video. I love that scene, and then it really does showcase the band. I mean, isn't that when they brought out the Jack Daniels bass?
Yep.
From Mikey?
It was everything about that band from the era. It's Van Halen
to rock and roll. You got Al partying, you got Dave being Dave, and Ed all over the place. I mean, it's there's not many bands where they really showcase each member as like a character. And they did it in Panama.
Right? Well, it was the pinnacle.
Yeah, it's
of the Roth era. Of the Roth era, it was the definitive statement of that era.
It was like the video represented the band as a personality, like individually and as a group, and that's it adds to the fun factor of it, right? Yeah, as Corey mentioned, like it's a fun party rock tune, and it's exactly the very thing Van Halen perfected way back when. And so that's why we say, my guy listening, that's why we say that Panama is absolutely quintessential Van Halen, because this song, there are a couple of examples, but I would say Panama is a huge example of what can this band actually, like, what can they do? What can they be? And can you hear where they can go from here? And it just really showcases their strengths, and it showcases the dynamics they have as as musicians.
That's it. I mean, sonically, it was the pinnacle of that band and where they were, and then the visuals, the image of that band, the video, like you said, not only pivotal for, just essential Van Halen, but like you said, for all of rock and roll, and certainly for all the genre, everything that came after that. I mean, just think about like the video and then Roth's stage show for the next 8 years. It was exactly that video. It was just on steroids. It just kept improving. But that experience, but it defined the genre. Both the song and the video were just.
Sorry about that, guys. Real quick, Chaz. Kevin Brown is stirring up shit in the chat. I got to address this. I'm not going to trash Ruddy for his taste. Nobody is trashing Ruddy about anything. No. The guy's a super nice guy. He's one of the best photographers I've ever seen. Go look out Fitlight Photography on Twitter. Absolutely amazing eye on this guy. He just, I think he generates more to like when we were doing the Genesis season. I think he was really invested in that. He loves Genesis. Maybe Van Halen's a little too simplistic, that kind of thing. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make a case for him to reconsider Panama. If he still hates it, that's fine. The guy is more than entitled to his opinion. We on the call certainly don't. No one is trashing Roddy about anything. And he says, even Kevin says Panama is a really good song, but it's not in his Van Halen top 10. But we all know Kevin has horrible taste. I will say that about Kevin, not about Ruddy. Kevin Brown, though, however, absolutely. If it's not your, I just want to kind of, because Ruddy was like, what am I missing? What is it about this song? And to me, it's all about guitars. It's all about drums. It's all about having fun. It's all about harmonies. Even putting the video aside, the video is absolutely fucking amazing. It's one of my favorite videos of all time. But is there anything that we can say to Ruddy to maybe give him give it another listen and kind of just appreciate it on this level?
Well, one more thing, it's the ultimate driving song too. So you put it on to start off. I mean, you're driving fast, but then it slows down, almost like, I do have my chick next to me, but there's a cop, on my side. I got to slow it down. Like Roth slows it down in the middle of the song, and then the cop turns off on the exit. You're still going, and then the song kicks in, and you're flying again. So I mean, drive a fast car and put this song on, and then I think your opinion might change.
That's a great point, and I would say even while you're doing that, sing it yourself, because I think that'll bring out the enjoyment of it, because it's one of the more singable songs, I think, and it's so again just captures their spirit so well. It's just pure joy. So give that a try and see how you feel.
Pure joy is a great way to put it. And actually, I just recorded Ultimate Catalog Clash with Kevin, and we're talking about when a chorus just repeats like the title 3 or 4 times, and that's the chorus. but it works here.
Just listen to that one today.
Yeah, thank you. And wouldn't you agree, like for some reason, like Panama is just 4 words. The entire chorus is the word Panama. But I don't know, just the way it's sung, the way it's performed, it fucking works. Like it's amazing. It's a really boring chorus when you look at it, just on paper. But man, does it work.
But that was also on brand for Van Halen. How many times have we talked about it on the show? It's like, it's a very simple chorus. It's just the title and that's it. Nothing more. I mean, running with the devil, like
might as well jump. Go ahead and jump.
You could argue Hot for Teacher, even though he says, I got it bad and a bunch of times, but
no, but the treatment, the whole Panama,
right, yeah, exactly.
I mean, it just gets in your
harmonies.
head, man. Earworms.
But, Ruddy, here's what I'll tell you, Ruddy. This is it. Because you want to know, like, what are you missing? Think of, and I will add, definitely watch the video. I think watching the video will put a lot into context, because this song, in its own way, is a representation of I think Chaz or somebody mentioned it, the era. It's the era. It's the sound of the era. There is very few other rock songs that I would put in the category of, play me a rock song that describes the 80s of the time. I think Panama, it could be a contender for one of those. In my opinion, I think it is one of the top contenders. Like just listening to that song, watching the video, because, again, it'll put so much more things into context. Just the way the fashion was, even for rock bands in the 80s, but especially rock bands in the 80s. But looking out, it's because it's a video set on a live performance. So look out on the crowd shots. Whenever they get to the crowd, just how people are reacting, the way that Dave is so theatrical. Actually, all the boys in this video are very theatrical. It's just, it's supposed to invoke something. So I echo what everyone has said on the panel, and I would also encourage you, watch the video while listening to the song. It's simple, and maybe you'll see and hear something that you were missing before.
No, that's a very good point. And, maybe age is kind of clouding us a little bit here, because I'm not sure how old Ruddy is. He might be a younger fella, but like for all of us, that grew up in the 80s, right? Panama's kind of ingrained into your history. If you're kind of a new listener to it, I can see you kind of going, well, there's not a lot going on here.
And I'll say this to defend newer music. I actually try to force myself sometimes to listen to even current pop music, right? Because I don't want to suddenly be, okay, I stopped all evolution at some point in life, and it's the only music I listen to, and it's the only way I dress, and all, the only food I eat. I always try to grow, and I try to listen with a critical eye and open mind, even to stuff that we might say, gosh, that's crap, or that's bad, or and that's what I would say to Roddy. I don't know. And certainly no offense meant earlier when I made my offhanded joke about opinions, but I'd say stop and listen to it. If you are a musician, if you like music, I'd even say, I'd go the other way. Don't watch the video. Put on a pair of headphones, close your eyes, and just listen to it. Listen to the drums, listen to the bass, listen to what Eddie's doing, listen to Dave and how it all comes together. And if you don't like it, it's not your thing. That's okay. But I don't get it. But that's okay. I don't get Taylor Swift. Lots of people like her.
There you go. Scott Eskin pointed out too, Panama is just the right tempo. And that's kind of a big part of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because like AC/DC, I think, built a career on tempo. It seems like everyone's kind of bouncing and doing the same thing at every single AC/DC song. And they're one of the biggest bands in the world. Panama kind of has that similar tempo. Josh points out REM songs are wordy, but doesn't inspire me to drive fast. I think about driving a diesel Volvo on old cooking grease.
Hey, you'll be super safe.
It's very similar to Red Barchetta. You're right. The Rush song, the driving songs, the great driving songs, Panama, Red Barchetta. I mean, there's a number that you could put in.
Running Down a Dream and have is not an REM song, but that's a great driving song, right?
Great driving song.
I would put Panama right up there. Santa Claus in the North Pole. Do you have anything to add about Panama?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. I've been sitting here the whole time, but I'm like, can you hear me? I just got to see. Here's the thing. Mark says it sounds like the 80s, but I don't think so. I think Panama is one of those songs could have come out yesterday, and you wouldn't know if you didn't know, because it's a classic tune. Because you can still listen to Beatles stuff, and the Beatles stuff sounds like it just came out yesterday. So it's not necessarily quintessential 80s, but I would agree with watching the video and seeing if that kind of, like, again, you get the idea, and maybe you like the song better, and maybe you don't. It's fine.
Yep.
I'm not here to,
It's absolutely fine. Yeah, couldn't have said it better. Eddie Van Trollen points out a lot of newer music lacks a catchy chorus, groove, and riff, and that is something that is kind of missing from newer music outside of like Mammoth, or like I was talking about the new Black Crowes record from established acts like that. But we don't get a lot of groove and riff anymore in music, do we?
I beg to differ. You need to listen to more gent metal. It's like all groove.
See, and I don't know any of that, so send me some suggestions. I'll give it a try.
Periphery, my dude.
Scott says, I would ask him what's going on in his life at the time. Does he associate it with something like a bad memory? I don't think so. I just think, and again, I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember. I think it was just overplayed could be a factor. Too simplistic could be a factor. Like there isn't really like song structure wise, there's not a lot going on as opposed to like a Home by the Sea by Genesis, which I think he started listening to our stuff from the Genesis season we did on Ultimate Catalog Clash. So kind of night and day stuff. So if you're more into that with like multiple key changes and different arrangements and all that built into one song, Panama is going to seem like, pretty damn stupid. But as a straight ahead rocker, if you just like just the straight 4 on the floor, let just fucking balls out rock and roll, it really does not get any better.
Well said.
Eddie Ventrell, can you repeat those bands? I missed them. Thank you. Assuming for Mark Meyer or who?
Yeah, which bands? Like gent bands?
I think that's a problem, though. If you got to explain who the band is and explain what the song's about, that's a problem. You just play Panama, everyone knows what it is. I mean, it is kind of the gateway in the Roth era of Van Halen, and it brought them up another level, like a lot of songs on 1984 did. But, I mean, what else are you listening to that's better, really? I mean, Santa Claus mentioned the Beatles, okay, but outside of that, like, what else is better than Panama? I mean, it's a iconic song.
The riffs. I was talking about Mammoth WVH, Wolfgang Van Halen's band, which I finally saw the behind the music with Wolfgang Van Halen. I don't think I was a functioning human being for 2 days after. Like, fuck, that just wrecked me.
Great.
It's one of those things you have to watch. It's like Schindler's List. I watched it once. It's absolutely brilliant. I don't know if I can watch it again. Never have to see it again. Kind of the same thing with actually, after watching Wolfie's Behind the Music, I went right to the Duran Duran one because I just went like, fuck, I need something to cleanse the palate. I need British, little Ponzi British folks just being bitchy at each other. So I watched the Duran Duran one. It was pretty good too. Nowhere near as good as the Wolfgang Van Halen one. And the other one I pointed out because I just got it, thanks to Kevin Brown, is the new Black Crowes record. Just riff heavy. Blues rock, that's my kind of jam, right? Give me ZZ Top, give me Black Crowes, give me Aerosmith any day of the week. That's my kind of stuff. So Panama, way too low, I'm guessing, for all of us here. It's number 28 in our rankings right now. 90.7% What Dreams Are Made Of, 9.3% The Dream Is Over. Anyone have a last word on Panama? I want to repost the poll. I want to see if we can get this sucker a little bit higher. If anyone's listening, how can we convince them that Panama deserves a spot? At least in the top 20, I would say top 10.
Top 10. No. Top 10. We got to take a stand here. This is fucking quintessential Van Halen.
We'll compromise.
Doesn't need to be quintessential 80s, but it's as far as Van Halen goes,
at least sub 20. Guys. I'm not going to knock Kevin or anyone else who doesn't have it in the
I'm
top
going
10.
right at it around. No.
It's at least concede sub 20. That at least give it some dignity.
I don't think he said was opposed
top
to 20.
10.
Yeah, Kevin just said it's not in his top 10. I'm not sure where it would rank for him, but
that's why I said compromise, top 15.
Yeah.
There you go. And
Kevin Brown,
Scott's
I'm guessing Kevin Brown would say that I'll Wait was probably better than Panama. In which I'll Wait was one of our
look where I'll Wait is.
Apparently
it's number 8.
It was number 1 for him.
Yeah, I'll Wait was number 8. Yeah.
That's nuts.
But yeah,
nothing against Top Jimmy, but Top Jimmy's way higher on your list than Panama, and we just had the rankings show and had it the reverse.
That's true.
A lot. So
the only thing I can figure here is when this poll originally came out, they thought we were talking about the Sammy Hagar cover of Panama. So that's they immediately docked it 10 points for that.
That's it. Dockets pay.
Kevin Brown says, I don't know if All Weight is better, but I prefer listening to it. Fair enough. It's more interesting. All right. I don't know if it's.
We're still waiting for Brown's screed on Wait. So we are waiting.
That's right.
For his screed
we're literally waiting.
Yes.
Wait, would you say All Weight is more interesting than Panama? I don't know. All Weight is pretty standard yacht rock, isn't it?
No, it's fucking Michael McDonald yacht rock. Come on.
It's different. I'll give Kevin that. Like if by more interesting he means it's a lot more different than a typical Van Halen song, then he'd be correct. But more interesting overall. Like, agree to disagree on that one.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a little lower on my ranks. I think I had it like 6th or 7th. Oh, Scott Haskin is mad at me now. What about our Schindler's List rewatch podcast? Sorry, buddy. I don't know if I can do it again.
Saddest podcast ever.
Saddest podcast. I already do enough sad podcasts. All right. Yeah. So Panama must be much higher. If you're listening to this, please vote accordingly. Mark Kameyer, you suggested a song that we visit here as well. Why don't you tell us about it?
I did, and if I'm being perfectly honest, to kind of pull back the curtain a little bit, I almost changed it on you last minute when I took another look at where all the songs ranked and where they were at currently, and one of them stood out it kind of boiled my blood a little bit, but instead, I'm not going to throw a curveball. I'm going to stick to my original plan, and I think Seventh Seal deserves further introspection, if you will, or just like or retrospective. Let's put it that way. I feel I know how the voting goes for any Hagar era, and I think that's you're diminishing so much great quality of Van Halen tracks when you do that. When you're one of those out there that think, hey, if Sammy's part of the that's not my Van Halen. That's not true Van Halen. Therefore, it's all garbage. It's all fluff. No substance whatsoever. And I say that's Volor, my friend. No, absolutely untrue. Now, there are a lot of songs I could have chosen from because apparently, even in the days that would follow, Sammy tracks didn't get a great voting, and I think that's only because people are too quick to the trigger on the downvoting the moment they don't see a Roth era Van Halen tune. I fully believe this. I mean, when you look at the scores, Corey, like when you look at where everything is, it's kind of astounding how much lower almost all Sammy tracks are compared to like Dave era. Even Dave era stuff that we don't feel is all that great.
It's true. Like Seven Seal currently ranks 64th. It's below When It's Love, Fools, Good Enough, Right Now, Stay Frosty, Can't Get This Stuff No More, Big Bad Bill, songs like that. It's ahead of Blood and Fire, She's the Woman. So a couple of bigger songs, more different kind of truth. Dirty Movies, it's ahead of. Could This Be Magic, Judgment Day, Out of Love Again. So it's one of the higher ranked Sammy tracks, but I don't know, 64. Are we happy with Seven Seal at 64? Kevin points out he saw him on this tour. And he says, Seven Seal live nearly collapsed my rib cage. That fucking kick drum was jacked to the nuts and nearly brought the damn ceiling down.
I believe it. But no, it's not a track that before doing the show, it wasn't one I was I knew it, but I wasn't overly familiar with it. But then doing the show, and then I've got a little personal bias as well because it's a song that means quite a lot to a person that's very close to me. So viewing it from that perspective added to the enjoyment, and it kind of gave me an even more an extra perspective, if you will, than what I had originally thought. And I feel like a lot of this was voted unfairly merely for the fact that it comes from an album that a lot of people probably don't think is all that great, and certainly if they are Sammy haters, then they're definitely not going to say anything positive about it. And I would encourage all of you to try and swallow that pride if you are indeed one of those. If it's Sammy, it ain't Van Halen. And I would say that's just absolutely not true. Swallow that pride. Give this one another listen. Listen to it with, I guess, fresh ears.
No, that's fair. And Balance is one of the things that really opened my eyes. Is Balance is a really fucking solid record, like really top to bottom. A lot of good stuff on Balance. I know Eddie Van Trollen not happy that Seven Seal is ahead of Dirty Movies, but it currently is 81.7% What Dreams Are Made Of, 18.3% The Dream Is Over, just below When It's Love. Which I don't know. I would probably rank, like, I love When It's Love, but musically, maybe Seven Seal kind of beats it for me. I don't know. Let's go to the panel here. Let's go around the horn. Yeah. What do we say we start with?
Here's the only somebody made a comment, by the way, that the main riff of Seven Seal, if you immediately watch an episode of Magnum PI, the opening of Magnum PI and that riff kind of match, and now I can't get that out of my head.
Nice. So the next time you listen to Seven Seal, you'll think of Tom Selleck.
That's right.
I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's a factor now.
Oh, it's a good thing.
You know, Corey, and Mark, I'm going to say first off, I love Seven Seal. And we were talking about it before we started, and it was the first thing I ever heard live from Van Halen. I went to that Balance tour. That was my first show. I had ninth row on the bass side. I mean, my hair was just tingling from what Mikey was doing. I mean, it's a fantastic song. But I'm looking at these rankings. I mean, and we're starting, and I agree. I think people just have an absolute bias for Dave and against Sammy, because that's when they stopped listening. And that, like, kind of what I was saying before about Panama. All right, I'm done, and that's it. But when you start to look at the numbers, I mean, we're really splitting hairs here. You're talking about if you added 1 point, it's now 57. You know, there's not a lot of, I mean, you know, over 80% of the people liked it. You know, it's not like there's what is it going to suddenly be, 90, right? Are we going to shift this to putting it in, you know, to go in the top 20 would be 81.7, Ain't Talking About Love. Well, Seventh Seal ain't talking about love. So maybe it's in the right spot. Looking at Balance, I'd say what probably isn't in the right spot is Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do, because I think it's down in the low 70s. But it's a great song.
Yeah, Don't Tell Me is the best song on that record for my money.
Right, and Don't Tell Me that's a 71 and Seven Seal's an 81. They're probably both 81s. But
yeah,
I would just say at the top that it's the opener of the album and the opener of the tour, and it's solo. Usually all the other ones that are openers of albums and openers of tours, they have both, they're way higher. So it's odd to me that it's low, even though it checks both of those boxes.
So Jeff Brewer says, I think Seven Seal is okay where it is. Do we agree?
Well, I do not agree with that.
I know you don't agree. I would be okay with it moving up some. I really dig Seven Seal. I know Christy does. There she is. Christy, where would Christy put Seven Seal?
Where would you put Seventh Seal on the grand rankings list?
Scale?
Yeah.
I'm very biased, though, because it was one of the only CDs I was allowed to have. I mean, I put it in, like, my top 10.
Top 10?
Yeah.
Wow. I could see it trading a few points with Up for Breakfast. Up for Breakfast does not deserve to be where it is, but that's a story for another time.
Up for Breakfast is dead last. What are you talking about?
I know, it doesn't fucking deserve that at all. That needs a revote. We got to talk about that.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, there's 19 people voted that. 19% voted that up.
Yes, they did.
That's wrong.
We can.
We'll get to it, Chazatar. Don't worry. So I say it could go up. Mark says it could go up. Anybody else think Seven Seal maybe deserves a better fate than what it's got right now?
Absolutely. I mean, it should be sub 50 for me. Easy. I would put it at least in my top 10 Sammy.
Yep.
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Top 10 Sammy. Yep.
Yeah.
Overall, it probably made close to 25 for me at least.
Wow.
Shit.
I'm thinking. I mean, at the very least, come on, let's swap spaces with Big Bad Bill at the very least. I mean, give it another 10 points or so. Come on, give it that.
Come on, Big Bad Bill's got their dad. Come on, you can't replace that song. Come on.
To put you on the spot.
It's got way more replay value. I mean, Big Bad Bill.
I love Big Bad Bill. I love that song. Sorry,
but I'll put the question to Christy real quick, and then you don't have to say any more after this. But how would you convince someone? You personally, how would you convince someone to upvote Seven Seal that might be thinking it's just kind of an okay song? Like, how would you?
I would just ask them, what's wrong with you? Do you not have ears? It's a fucking banger.
Do you not have ears? It's a fucking banger. I love it. That's all you got to say.
That'll do it.
So there it is. What's wrong with you? It's a banger. Do you not like music? So
do you not have fucking ears? I love it.
Don't hold back, Christy. How do you feel?
I expected this like profound statement, and I love that. That's what I didn't get that I got that reaction. I love that.
Like I told you not to be stupid, you moron. Come on.
That's true.
Okay, I got to point out the cut of the jib here because I turned on a fucking thing called Super Chats, and they gave me 99 cents to show this little avatar of a face with sunglasses. So thank you very much for that. It's 99 cents well spent. Thank you very much, sir. But he also goes on to say that the Seven Seal has such a great guitar part to it, and Sammy's vocals on the chorus are top notch, which I agree with 100%. Kevin Brown says, I'm on Mark's side. Seven Seal is probably top 30-ish for me, but I have very fond memories of that album and song. I was thinking top 40, but I might be able to be talked into top 30 too. Like, I really think a lot of this one. Michael Griffith, where would it rank for you in Van Halendom?
I mean, I'm looking at the list of where I would. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I see One Foot Out the Door, which I like. That's above it. I guess I'd say it's above that. As maybe one or two songs I'd put it above. That's the problem is it's a great song in its own right, but there's so much like big time competition ahead of it.
That's
but I would have it definitely 10 spots higher if I could.
10 spots higher? Sure. Eddie Van Trollen is wondering, can you share what number overall AFU is? I sure can. AFU number 86.
6.
So you can see it way down there, just below Not Enough, above Feelin', above Happy Trails, still below Big Fat Money, Love Walks In, and Chinatown. So a little bit below where the Seven Seal ranks right now.
I think when we think about the elements of this song too, so Sammy, his singing is great as always. I would argue some of his best range maybe in the chorus. And Sammy's typically knocked for his lyrics, right? These are great lyrics.
Yeah,
they are.
He's tackling a very serious subject here. And I would say these are definitely in the upper tier level of Sammy lyrics. So I think you got to give him points there. The tone is so crisp, so great. I personally find it really hard to knock the song for anything at all, really. And I'd be interested to hear from those who do knock it what they have a problem with.
Without saying is like it's strictly because it's a Sammy era tune. It's like you got to give me a little
exactly
bit of that.
Right.
I mean, musically, it's a step up, and if you can trace like what Eddie's playing and how the band is playing from there to even stuff like Humans Being, which is another step up from that. Things are a little more complex. Things are working, intermeshing and going back and forth, and there's always something new to hear when you listen to it.
And I would just say this again, looking at these rankings, first off, the song on its own, right? It's and no pun intended. I think the production quality of that album it is truly very balanced. I mean, when you listen to it, I think it's some of like Michael Anthony's most prominent bass playing. I mean, he is really forward. What Alex is doing on the drums, Sammy's voice as a vocalist is amazing. But again, I look at this thing and I'm looking at a list here. All right. Is it better than Pound Cake, which Pound Cake is 10 points higher on our chart, but it's only 2 points. We're talking 83.7 versus 81.7. Is it better than Secrets? Is it better than One Foot Out the Door? I mean, you start to look at these things. They're all such great songs. I think I said earlier, over 80% of the people voted it up. Great. What's above it that you bring it down? I mean, is it better than Me Wise Magic? I don't know. I don't think it's better than Pound Cake, to be candid.
I don't think it's better than Pound Cake either. I personally would put it above Me Wise Magic. I would put it above Big Bad Bill for sure.
Come on, guys, it's ahead of Dreams. Does it belong to be ahead of Dreams?
No, it doesn't actually.
Okay,
that's one of the few that I almost changed on Corey last minute and was like, no, actually, I'm going to talk about this because I'm upset.
Right, because that's a travesty. That's top 10 Van Halen.
We will
both eras.
We will likely do another one of these shows before our time is done. Just because, if Corey, look, the whole reason this show is even occurring, as I said, is because Panama was ranked so low and Corey could not have that.
He could not handle that shit.
Therefore, I cannot have it with a couple of these, in particular, Sammy era tunes being so low. It's like, no, how dare you? How dare you all? So I don't know. There might
Get Up. I mean, it's higher than Get Up. I mean, come on, Get Out. That's nuts.
So I think Brad made a good point. I mean, with the rankings, it gets, we're splitting hairs here, and it's tough. For me, it's more about the percentage. When you look at the percentage that they got, they just, the ones we're talking about and so many more, they really deserve at least another 5 to 10%. Because some of them, you can look at them and say, okay, maybe there's a small handful of people out there who don't dig it, but I mean, come on, Dreams, The Seventh Seal. I mean, these should easily be approaching 90%, and there's
that for me, that's all I'm looking for, is that I think Seventh Seal being an 81.7, if you round it 82%, What Dreams Are Made Of, is like, I think this one deserves a little bit more love than that. I'm not asking for everyone to upvote it to like a 95, because that's not gonna happen.
Well, hey, but look at that one. You guys gave a lot of love to Feelin'. I feel like you guys gave more love to Feelin' than you did to this one.
Not me. I'm not really a fan of Feelin'.
No?
I don't even think I
thought everyone loved that one. I hate that song.
I voted down Feelin'.
But I thought you guys gave one that you gave a lot of love, and it's pretty low comparatively.
No, I voted
Seal.
that one down, my friend. I wasn't really a big fan of Feelin'. Right. It was 75-25 on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to Chaz's point, and I think Scott, thanks for what you're saying, and I think maybe the way to look at it is it's not really ranking them against other songs. It's just, how is this song in a vacuum not liked by more people? Feeling is only 6 points less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's only 6 points less, but it's 23 slots down. I mean, 75% of the people like Feeling.
Oh yeah, the songs that are in the middle here, this is nuts. Like, so Big Fat Money, Love Walks In. I mean, some of these songs, Get Up, like I said. I mean, some of these Sammy era songs, Mine All Mine. Come on, right? I mean, it's crazy, and I think the point cannot be overstated here that there's that immediate Sammy thumbs down bias, and you're fighting against that the whole rest of the show, the whole rest of the listen. You're fighting against that bias.
That's very true. But if we're done with this one, there was one more song that we were for sure going to talk about tonight. It's the one the Patreons picked that they wanted to talk about. They thought deserved to get revisited, and it's this one here. It's one that Van Halen fans might know because Sammy Hagar posted a video today from rehearsals, and they were working on this track, day 2 of rehearsals for the Best of All Worlds tour. This is 5150. By all accounts, certainly by ours, one of the, if not the best track off of 5150. It's currently sitting 86.9%. What Dreams Are Made Of, 13.10%. The Dream Is Over.
90,
It's currently number 4.
90.
Just the way Scott had said that Seventh Seal, if we're talking for the Sammy era, top 10 easily, then 5150 is easily top 5, if not top 3 at the very least. Because
all day long.
Yeah,
Amen.
5150 slaps so hard. I remember this. I remember being real bummed when I saw the voting. I was like, that's just not, no pun intended, that's just not good enough. Like,
but here's the deal, though, man. This is a musician's song. You know what I mean? It's like, and I've noticed this just with the cover band. When we introduced it, the one time, it was like everyone was like, "Oh yeah, that was Van Halen." Oh yeah. It's like not like by the general public, not really well known or embraced, but to us, yeah, it's like a seminal work.
It's catchy though. It's catchy as hell too. I mean,
Really
this is one. I play it while I'm driving, and my kids will sing along to it. I mean, it's got a real nice pop sensibility. Given how complex it is, I think it does well in both areas.
Yeah, it's complex. It's a little long. It gets a little weird at times. It does make for a great song.
But I just look at this. Rank 40. I mean,
that's nuts.
No, that's nuts. It's it's an all-timer for me. It's right up there in the top 3 of Sammy's best, and it's got to be in the conversation, I think, for top 10. Even if it's not in your top 10, at least consider it.
Top 10 for both eras. It has to be considered. It does.
I'll say this: in the number 10 slot, we have Drop Dead Legs. I think that is way too high for Drop Dead.
Oh, that's way too fucking low. Are you kidding me? No, it's actually totally appropriate. 10 is perfect, actually, overall. For that song, dude, that's perfect.
I would easily swap them out. 5150 Drop Dead Legs in these positions.
Oh, no. 5150 is ahead of Drop Dead Legs, but they're both still in the top 10.
What about like Bottoms Up or Light Up the Sky? Like I would put 5150 above those for me.
Well, let's be honest. We'd all put it ahead of Little Guitars, right? I mean,
yeah.
Well,
except Kevin Brown, but yeah.
Little Guitars is a great
Don't
song.
say that, Scott.
It's a great song.
He's going to call his
I
minions.
understand why it was voted the way it is, but also I don't, because 5150 should be higher.
Listen, are we just going to finally spit it out? It was Scott. Scott fixed that fucking vote, man.
Found the hanging chads.
I knew it. Ed in the chat says 5150 is a kick-ass tune that deserves to be top 20. That's kind of where I would put it.
Yeah, baby. All right, Ed.
Yeah.
Jeff Brewer even agrees, and Jeff Brewer doesn't agree with anyone. This is a landmark moment in podcast history. Mm-hmm. Oh, 5150 is one place ahead of Little Guitars for me. There you go. Even Kevin Brown has 5150 ahead of Little Guitars.
No way.
Yeah. Shocking, wow. I know.
All right,
I know Brown. He loves those Little Guitars, but he put 5150 ahead of it. So good on you, Brownie. I agree with you, buddy.
I think Lars Ulrich loves Little Guitars.
Even Lars Ulrich. Jeff Brewer, I definitely put it ahead of Little Guitars. There you go. 5150 brings me back to summer in 1986. Cruising, partying, and good times. I agree. I was 12. I wasn't doing a lot of cruising back then, but when I was 16, 17 at the Come and Go. Do you want to hear some Come and Go stories? This song was definitely playing out of my tape deck when I was getting discount cigarettes and bribing plenty with girls with a 6-pack of Canadian beer to do all sorts of unholy things.
That's right.
Some spackling. Did you do some spackling up there?
A 6-pack of Pilsner. There you go.
Come and go get some discounted smokes. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a 6-pack of pill. Let's have some fun.
There was just no way these places are real. It just can't be.
They were once upon a time. I don't know.
Once upon a time. Yeah, the Come and Go is no more by the sounds of it, but
I think we need a podcast about it.
Tales from the Come and Go. That's the name of my autobiography.
Come and Go still around. Come and Go still around.
Well, for now, I hear that they're going to go through a name change, though. For some reason, they think Come and Go is too overly suggestive. Even though it's pretty accurate, actually.
End of an era, yes.
I have come and go'd many a time in the parking lot of the Come and Go. Anyways, 5150.
TMI. Okay, yeah. Keep going.
I mean, or even Hang 'em High, right? I mean, you can Hang 'em High is at 20, but the crazy part is it's only 5 points apart. Not even 5 points apart. That's why it starts to get really narrow here. It's the top 10 song.
Top 10 overall or top 10 Hagar?
Yes.
Kevin Brown. Corey's blog is going to be called Came and Went. There you go. That's the perfect name, my friend. Thank you. Came and Went.
Well done. Well done.
I love Kevin Brown. I know I give him a hard time, but he's just the best. Absolute best. The Come and Go podcast, stories of a misspent youth. I don't know if it was misspent, my friend. I had a hell of a time.
Time well spent.
Time well spent.
Yep.
Indeed.
I used to show up at school at 9 a.m. and say present, then we'd hop in the car and we'd drive to Plentywood, Montana, get like a 24-pack of Schlitz or whatever fucking discount cheapy-ass beer we can get from the Piggly Wiggly in Plentywood, Montana. Go play a round of golf. Go cruise around. Go, usher some ladies into womanhood and then head back home for 3 o'clock. Say present again. We were here all day.
Ushered
Absolutely.
some ladies into womanhood.
That's right.
Well,
ever the gentleman.
how poetic.
You said a lot of outdated.
That's better than a Roth
there.
lyric.
I said a lot of outdated words. Yeah.
Literally, Corey was living summer nights.
That's right. Thank you. Perfect analogy. And Summer Nights, sitting in at 27. Are we happy with that? What's the best track on 5150, you guys? Is the Summer Nights? Is it 5150? Is it best of both worlds?
Well, wait.
It definitely
where does Sammy's first track appear?
Sammy's first track
listings?
is Summer Nights.
And
Coming
that's
in at 27.
Yeah.
See, I look at Summer Nights. It's 90.8. I'm okay with that. I don't like it, but I'm okay with it.
Feels like it
his
should be
first
like
song
a 93,
doesn't come in until
94.
almost 30 songs in the catalog.
Right.
Almost
Which
30
is
songs in.
disrespectful. I'm looking at all these.
But again, I mean, these songs, 5150 deserves to be at least in the 90% range.
Yes.
It absolutely
Yes.
deserves to be above Summer Nights if we're just gonna, throw
Okay.
that one around. I agree with you, Scott. It should get up to 90.
Does it go above Panama at 28? Like, Panama's got to be, like, when we do the repoll, that better be top 10.
I personally would not put 5150 ahead of Panama, but I would not put them that far away from each other.
Right.
That's just my personal.
They're pretty close. I could agree with you there. Kevin Brown is now wondering, because he's English/Canadian, don't bury the lead. What the fuck is the Piggly Wiggly? Any Americans
I
want
got this.
There you go. Okay, go ahead, Mark.
I got this because you see, Kevin, I was raised in the American South where Piggly Wiggly runs rampant, or it did once upon a time. You see, it's just a supermarket.
Yep.
And their mascot is Porky Pig, a very famous Looney Tune, and they can't call it Porky's because that's already a thing. So it was called the Piggly Wiggly. I don't know who named it, but somebody did, and they were a staple for many, many a year because of they provided discounts on marketable food and what have you. And I think they are sadly no more as well. Am I correct in that? Piggly Wigglies are gone?
No, they're still there.
Oh, we still got
Piggly
one.
Wiggly is still a thing. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
According to Wikipedia, we have 503 of them. This is why you never win Price is Right.
Are they owned by Kroger?
I thought there'd be more.
So it's a supermarket, Kevin, to help your British brain.
Eddie Van Trollen says Piggly Wiggly is a strip joint chain in farm country.
Maybe.
If only that were true.
Maybe. We don't kink shame here. Maybe.
Ed says 5150 should be ahead of Summer Nights, but not Panama. Yeah, I could get on board with that.
I mean,
yeah.
that's I'm okay.
I don't
with that.
know. I don't know. Summer Nights.
Summer Nights
There's
is
so
pretty
much
good.
going on in that song. I don't know.
Jeff Brewer says
Not
it should
sure about
be
that one.
between 5 and 7, so he's advocating for a top 10 finish for 5150.
I don't know that I would agree that this should be like Sammy's top track, but I get it. I mean, Jeff, I know this is your favorite Sammy era song, so I get it. That's fine. Oh, sorry. I got poked. But I would not put it I would not put 5150 as the best Sammy era song. It's one of the best. I personally wouldn't put it as my number one for Sammy's.
Well, Sammy said they're probably the most requested track from the Sammy era. They haven't played it since the 5150 tour, but they're rehearsing it right now. And I think Chad in our Discord wasn't real pleased. There's a keyboard player who's kind of feeling, he thought the rehearsal stuff sounded more lounge than rock.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. This is day 2 of rehearsal. Not everything's going to be polished on day 2, right? So by the time they roll the tour out, I bet you 5150 is rocking.
Man, what was the ballad he was singing? He posted the video right today or the other day in rehearsals. He was singing something a cappella with just the keyboard.
Oh.
I thought it was When It's Love.
When It's Love?
Yeah,
When It's Love?
yeah. Sounded a little.
I saw the hashtag. Didn't see the video.
I don't know. It was a little rough. It's a little rough. I get it. It's day 2.
Well, and he's 70 years old. So
Yeah, I get it.
It's called a warm-up, Chaz. He can't just...
I don't know if I would have gone with that song. I'm just thinking, right? His age, his range. Why would he choose that song?
Because it's a banger.
This is the last chance he's going to have to play it, because after this year, like you said, catch him early in the tour.
Right. Yeah.
Early in the tour, he might be able to do it. Later in the tour, I bet you get swapped out for something else.
Might happen.
Tune it down.
Yeah, tune it down. That good call. He could do that. Yeah.
It did sound. It sounded like he'd already kind of went down a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I think he is down like a full step, if not more, from where he was.
I'd be shocked if he wasn't. I mean,
I think he is.
Yeah.
He certainly is. I think it's more than a full step at this point.
Like if he does Dreams, like that's gonna be like 3 steps, right?
I think it might just be one whole step down. Like I don't think it's like too crazy, but
no.
I think, don't quote me, but I think. But I'm inclined to agree with Jeff there in the chat. Panama's more iconic Van Halen has to be higher than 5150. Yes.
But it's way better than any other Sam track, is what he says, which you can make the case for.
Again, I acknowledge that you feel that way. I personally do not feel that way.
We're all entitled to our feelings.
It is great.
That's
and
right.
look, and that's not me knocking 5150. Obviously, we're advocating for it. I just personally think there are other Sammy tracks I think deserve a top spot.
I think this song in particular suffered from how it sounded before the remasters. Now remastered, it really punched it up to another level. So it's always that whole 5150 album was difficult for me to even listen to because it just sounded horrible prior to the remasters. Now it's like a whole different world's opened up. And this song in particular, I think is so great and benefits the most from it. It sounds fantastic. And I'd probably put it number 1 for the Sammy songs. Yeah, I think it's his best lyrically. I never really understood what 5150 meant. And I think it means, I'm always going to be one up on you. I'm always going to be 51 to your 50. And I didn't figure that out until a couple of years ago. So I was blown away by that.
Well, Kevin Brown says it might be more iconic, but it's not a better song for him. 5150 is an absolute masterclass.
This might be a hot take. I think 5150 should be higher than any track from A Different Kind of Truth.
Oh, I would agree with that.
Any of them. I think 5150.
What would you put ahead of it, Chaz?
Stay Frosty.
Really?
In terms of Eddie's guitar work, come on. The stuff on A Different Kind of Truth was Eddie at his absolute fucking masterful peak. Everything that Eddie ever was is on that fucking record.
Interesting.
Sorry, I'm really pissed off that that we still don't have access to that because of the fucking vocalist. I'm sorry. The group was Van Halen, and it was because of the guy who was playing the fucking guitar and the other guy who was on the drums. Oh, and that iteration also had the guy that was on the bass. So shut the fuck up, Dave, and give us back our record because it's Eddie at his goddamn best.
Well, Eddie says Honey Baby Sweetie Doll may be better than 50.
Come on, Honey Baby Sweetie Doll, fucking Out of Space. Some of the songs on that record, man, are fucking out of control in terms of the guitar. Holy shit.
They are, but better than 5150.
Bullethead?
Yeah, better.
I don't know about that.
It was evolved from that. I mean, Eddie, 5150 was greatness at that point. But, A Different Kind of Truth is what he became after the greatness of 5150. So he was topping himself.
Well, honestly. I know Kevin Brown is not a fan of A Different Kind of Truth, and he says anything but Inside from 5150 is better than A Different Kind of Truth.
You know what?
I can see Chaz getting all worked up about it.
Scott Everett said it best. Scott Everett said it best in the chat. Some people are just wrong. And yes, Kevin, you're right. Scott's right. You're wrong. That's fine.
I don't know, Chaz. I might be in Kevin's corner on this one.
Oh, bullshit. Inside's a great song.
I don't know if that's the hill I would want to die on, but
that's
A Different Kind of Truth is Eddie. Come on, it's the last thing.
The live show for A Different Kind of Truth is going to be pretty lit here.
I think so. It's going to be a lot of fun. I actually really like that album. So, hopefully Kevin will be there to tell us how wrong we are. But Kevin in the chat also wanted us to talk about this song.
Yes.
Little track from Van Halen 3. This is one, if we were recording today, back when I did it, I would probably upload this one. So I really dig Without You. This is one where on the Ultimate Catalog Clash, we instituted a thing we call the Haskins scale, whereas we break down the song based on music, lyrics, and production. But we also rate it on what we call the Haskins scale. Just on a scale from 1 to 10, do you like the song? And this is one where when I'm rating it, I rated it kind of below average. But on the Haskins scale, this would be a fucking 8 for me. Because I can listen to Without You every day, all day. I dig this track. The production's not great. The mix is shit. But as a tune, Without You fucking is a killer tune, I think.
I think this is the one from Van Halen 3 that I upvoted.
You upvoted 2, and Without You is not one of them.
You sure?
Don't say anything, Scott. Don't say anything.
Well, no, you did do Without You. You also did Year to the Day as your second one, Mark.
Oh, okay.
And I also upvoted Without You, but I would probably rank this one higher. When you look at Without You in the overall rankings, all the Gary songs are really low, but Without You, 95 is where it's sitting
It's
right
the
now.
highest, right? From Van
It
Halen
is.
3.
Yeah, it is.
It's only at 70%.
Yes.
It is considerably higher than the next one on it, but no, I love this song, and I think Eddie's guitar work on that one is I love it. So I think it's unfortunately gets a second bias, right? It's like the Sammy bias times 2 is the Gary bias, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Great call.
It's the apologies to Gary bias.
Exactly.
That's right.
Without You's a
better
fucking
live.
banger, right? Like,
The live version's great.
yes.
That's the
But
thing.
we'll talk about that on
live versions typically when we do the show, though. It's
No.
the record, right?
It's the record.
Yeah.
And I was going to say we're going to take what was Darren's suggestion the other day for regarding Van Halen 3. How many say why? That's our tagline. How many say why?
But Without You, 95. Shouldn't this be higher? Is it better than In and Out? Is it better than Take Me Back? Is it better than Pleasure Dome? I think so. Oh, Chaz
What?
doesn't.
Oh, it's not better than Pleasure Dome.
The percentage
Happy
should be
Trails?
higher.
Come on.
Pleasure Dome?
It's an 80%er easily.
Yes.
It doesn't belong in the 70s.
Yes.
no way.
80%.
Is it
I'm
better
with
than-
Scott.
Is it better than Feel It?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Every day.
Yes.
Right.
It's like the only finished song off the record. Oh, I got to shut up.
It's better than Happy Trails.
Dude, I don't.
But you know what?
I don't think Without You is better than Spanked.
No.
I do.
Fuck no.
Are you kidding?
What?
So,
No.
like,
Spanked. You came
Oh.
around on Spanked.
This kick spanked right in the nuts. Are you kidding?
Get out of here. Are
think
you
so.
nuts? Let's see how you voted on Spanked.
Spanked
Did
was
better.
58% what
Bullshit.
dreams are made of right now, my friend.
Fucking bullshit.
12 points lower than Without You. And I think
This
that
audience has no taste.
Without You has to be in the 80s. I'm with Scott. Spank should be in the low 40s.
Fuck. Come on, man. No, Up for Breakfast, Spanked. This was Sammy at his greatest.
What?
Yes.
Up for
Oh,
breakfast?
God. Up for Breakfast, Spanked. Some of his best work.
You've had some hot takes, but
We
this
found
is the
the
biggest
identity of Eddie
trough
Van
of horse
Trollen.
shit you've ever thrown at.
We found him. We found you, Chaz. You son of a bitch. I knew we'd find you. Let's see what you're doing over there.
Fucking troll.
You saw that,
Art, man.
huh?
But do you want to get
And
in
then
Up
you
for
say
Breakfast? I could play it here. It's currently 19%. It's
It fucking deserves a better shot than this. Come on.
Really?
Look, I'll say this.
It's a good song.
Is it the worst of the Sammy era? Yeah.
Oh,
Does
come
it
on. It
belong-
is not.
But I don't think actually
Oh.
Up for Breakfast deserves to be at the bottom of the list.
What would you put at the bottom? How many say I?
Once.
Once. Come on,
yeah.
Corey.
I hate
Everybody's
once.
got
Belongs
once at the
at the
bottom.
And somehow once is above Inside from 5150, which that blows me the fuck away.
That's some
How did that
horseshit.
happen?
I
That's
don't know
bullshit.
how that happened. So I'm on Kevin's side, at least for that one.
Once is ahead of Ballad in the Bullet, which is a song that I thought was average, but way better than fucking
No.
Once.
Well, okay. All right.
can't
Because I hate that
remember
one
how I
too.
felt about
All right.
it,
I'm
Ballad
sorry.
of the Bullet
I like
sucks.
once. I like once. I'm sorry. I
That's
like
okay.
it. I'm gonna be
You're
the
allowed to
Sonny
like
Bow
it,
here.
Santa. That's all right.
Santa, do you want to be on Regarding Van Halen 3?
Absolutely.
You're gonna love that show.
All right. How many say why?
Put me on the list.
How many say
Look
why?
at here, though. Learning to See, 110. Couldn't we just swap it with Learning to See? I mean, come on. Up for Breakfast is much better than Learning to See.
You know what? I'm inclined
agree
to
to
agree
that?
with you. Learning to See is that fucking bad.
Yeah, there you go. All right.
I'm inclined to agree with Scott, yeah. I'd be okay with swapping. At least this has like a happy kind of upbeat kind of.
Yeah, it's
groove
got
to
a
it.
fun factor to it at least.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a feel-good song, man.
Got my butter on my biscuit.
Now let's talk about Spanked. There you go. All right, we gotta get Spanked some love now.
If we're just keeping it real, and apologies to a couple of the gentlemen on the panel right here, if we're just keeping it real, I would put Up for Breakfast above any Van Halen 3.
Any Van Halen 3?
Even the ones I upvoted, like,
Wow.
I won't go that far.
You know why? Here's why. This is my God's honest answer. Because with those two songs from Van Halen 3, without you specifically too, I thought each time I thought it was going to be horrible and worse, and they were perfectly, as our show is, perfectly adequate. Which was an upvote. I was like, well, hey, that was not a complete shit show of a track, actually. It was perfectly adequate, so I have to give it a hell yeah of What Dreams Are Made Of. Whereas Up for Breakfast, at least it was entertaining. At least we knew what we were in for, and it's like, is it stupid? You're damn right, it's stupid. It's real stupid, but it's fun, and you can't say Sammy's not singing the hell out of it.
Right on up to our lunch pail, baby. He's there.
Oh, Kevin Brown.
Is there any song that's been talked more about on the show?
I
don't know.
Again, there it is. Yeah.
That's true.
Well, maybe once, just in the terms of like, I can't believe something so bad exists on the repertoire of Van Halen, but all right.
Kevin Brown says, come on, Mark. Seriously, I really can't wait for you to hear the redo or the redux. See if you change your mind.
About once?
About once, I'm assuming, yeah. I don't know.
You're right. Actually, I do need to
come.
Hear the Kevin Brown special, but I'm here to tell you, bro, that's a very tall mountain to climb, because I don't think you all fully understand how much I really did not like that.
You know what? I am with my podcast brother from another mother, Mark. I think Once is the worst song on that record. I think How Many Say I is a better track, because at least musically there's good stuff in that song. Once, I don't know if there's anything good. I don't care how you want to remix it or recut it. If Kevin Brown fucking farts the alphabet, I think that's better than Once.
No, Kevin was just talking about the album as a whole.
The album as a whole?
Once you can't really redo that one. Kevin's tried, and there's not much to work. There's not much to work with there with Once.
If Kevin can't fix Once, then no one can, because Kevin does some great recuts. Of different.
I'll tell you, he fixed How Many Say I. You're absolutely right. There's a great instrumental there, and it should have been a 2-minute instrumental.
Good call.
Well,
good call. Yeah,
point.
2-minute instrumental.
Correct. How Many Say I is the better song, because all you had to do was tweak it a little bit. But even the great Kevin Brown said, "I can't fix Once. There's just so much wrong with it." So it's like, there you have it. Worst on the list.
What do you do with that?
I'm sorry. We spend all this time apologizing to Gary, but Gary likes to take credit for basically telling Eddie to sing that song.
Really?
Yes, yes. I've read interviews, and he basically encouraged Ed to do that.
Well, sure, because then Gary didn't have to, and he looks better.
He didn't get blamed.
Exactly.
But no, he fucking did the harmonies. Those. Oh, come on. Oh, please.
No,
all right, we'll get into both of those songs. Once and How
change the tagline to apologies to Eddie for this particular album, because it's like, sorry, bro.
Because nobody helped you, Ed. Nobody was there for you. You were trying to do something nice for your brother, as we've learned by playing the drums. Ed was trying to make a sober record, right? Great story there, but shit, guys.
Yeah.
Who was there to help him? Right.
Exactly. So, maybe it's like apologies to Gary somewhat, but mostly if we're talking about Van Halen 3, apologies to Eddie. Like, sorry, bro. I know you were going through some stuff, but just didn't land.
Scott, do I reveal too much? I need to keep my mouth shut, right?
No,
stop revealing your stuff.
More to come. More to come.
More to come. Ellipsis.
Sign an NDA.
Oh, fuck. I already did.
There you go. Yeah, man. I definitely.
So did we agree to bump up without you?
Yeah,
I'm cool with it.
We should.
Yeah, I mean.
No, we agreed to bump up for breakfast.
No, it's fine where it is.
What? Fuck. No.
I thought we agreed to bump up 5150 because it deserves it.
That one definitely we're bumping up, absolutely. Yeah. But I'm kind of wondering about this one.
That's another one that I almost
just too low. Too damn low.
Too damn low. Chaz, you want to dispute that? Where is Humans Being in our rankings here?
It's not that high.
74.
74 for Humans Being.
Oof.
I don't know, guys.
Oh, come on. It's Ahead of the Dream is over? No way. It's Ahead of Dreams. No way. Mine all mine.
This song broke up the band.
Get up. Yeah,
it's this
screw
song's fault.
I hate this song. It's a bullshit song.
How dare you?
Go ahead,
Fucking
Mark. Give him
Hollywood.
hell.
Hollywood bullshit song.
Below You and Your Blues? Really? Below Pretty Woman? Could this be magic? I would put Humans Being above all those.
No way.
I'll tell you what's too low. Judgment Day.
Where's Judgment Day?
Judgment Day is at
80 points to 69. 80 point
69. Oh, yeah.
That's
Considering it also made number 2 on our live show.
Yeah, Judgment Day should be much higher. Top 50 at least, right?
Judgment Day's all right where it is. That makes sense. That's an epic deep cut for a lot of people.
Yeah, but I really enjoy getting into that one every time I.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Like it sparks a new love for me. So like I would be totally cool with bumping it up. Is it fine where it is? Not really, but I mean, if I have to substitute other tracks that deserve to be higher and keep that where it is, fine.
Yeah.
Humans Being should be higher though.
Yeah, it says it should be in the 40s. I'd be okay with top 40 for Humans Being. Anybody else?
Yeah, absolutely.
Never.
It's a Sammy thing alone. I mean, me personally, probably no one else would agree. Me personally, it would be in my top 10.
Oh
Top
yeah,
10?
it's Sammy era. Fuck it. No, it's not nowhere near that. It's Sammy. Nah.
Listen to the guitar work, Chaz. The guitar work, though.
Hey, go, bro. I'm all in on EVH, man. It was all EVH, dude.
Is there any other tracks you guys are looking at the list that you think should be bumped up or bumped down? Let's talk about the elephant in the room, shall we? Little Guitars.
Yeah, okay.
Number one.
Oh, come on. We've talked about this.
98.6. Have we talked about Little Guitars? We haven't tonight.
We haven't. We've just mentioned that it's at the top slot, and the truth of the matter is, it really is a good track. It's way too.
It
high.
is.
It's way too high. If we're ranking Van Halen like overall tracks, Little Guitars is way too high. I don't understand, honestly, why.
I have a theory. And I put this forward at the time. I mean, I think it's arguably the least offensive track. Okay, so when you think about the kinds of things that might offend people, if you're a Van Halen fan, you know, so we have the Sammy haters, we have, you know, some people who don't like some of the shenanigans that Dave will do. There are no shenanigans here from Dave. I mean, he's doing a good job singing. There's great guitar work. It has ingredients that you can imagine being the least offensive to the Van Halen fan base. So that's why I think it probably did as well as it did.
No, go ahead.
No, that's it basically. And I rigged the vote, Chaz.
That's it. We know you rigged the vote. That's number one. He's so quick to defend it. But no, actually, you're not wrong. I mean, it's a great song. It's got all those elements that make, you know, Van Halen truly unique, right? And so when you think about it, everything we love about it, this does kind of take it up a level and gets it beyond, like, you know, the locker room and all the stuff that we, you know, clown about and joke about with the lyrics and shit like that. It really was, like Scott said, it was a very mature Van Halen, and it really does kind of, I think, speak, you know, to the artist, you know, that was, you know, at the core of this band, which was Eddie, you know.
I don't know. I look at the list.
It's a great song.
It's a great song. I think Mean Street's better. I think Hot for Teacher is better. I think DOA is better. I think Unchained is better. I think Somebody Get Me a Doctor is better.
Ain't Talking About Love's way better.
Yeah.
And it's at 20. Ain't Talking About
5150 is better.
5150 is better. Yeah, I would agree with that. Little Guitars is great. But 98.6, like, holy fuck. Even in the chat's like, wow, Little Guitars is number one? Not Unchained or Ain't Talk About Love? I'm like, yeah, I know.
Well, this is one that no one's going to say they hate it. So everyone's going to upvote it. This is, how could you listen to this and say you don't like it?
But who hates Hot for Teacher? Who hates Somebody Get Me a Doctor?
People who think it's overplayed.
Really?
The trolls do.
Yeah,
the trolls do.
Trolls will go for easy answers. This is a song everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, well, that's a great song. Of course.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, of course.
That's a good theory.
Keep Hot for Teacher where it's at. I think that's a good spot for it.
Hot for Teacher number 4, you like that?
Yeah.
Then I would put Panama number 3 myself, or number 1 for me. But
I would say this though, if you think about, like, I'm looking at the very bottom of the list. I know we went up to the top, but you look back at the very bottom, you think about the fact that I think, Corey, you've got a couple of live shows in here, right? 2 or 3 live shows. So I think we have 118, 117 original album tracks. I think that's it, right? Album tracks and singles, but not the Right Here, Right Now stuff.
Yeah, I think we're at like 120 for just songs.
Well, 120 total, but you've got like Eagles Fly, you've got Pound Cake on here twice. And
okay.
I think you've got 3, anyway, 118, 120, whatever you want to call it. And really, there are 8. A total of 8 songs out of this band's catalog where at least over 50% of the people would say, yeah, I like it. Holy shit, how good is this band, right?
Yeah.
8 out of 120 songs, people have said, I don't like it. The majority of people. That's amazing to me. That's how good Van Halen is.
That's a great point. There's actually 9 below 50%. If we go back, Apolitical Blues, Josephina Once, That's Why I Love You, Inside From Afar, Ballad of the Bullet, How Many Say I, and Up for Breakfast are all under 50%. And then we have 2 right at 50, Learning to See and What I Want.
And that's not a bad point at all, especially knowing that there's an inherent bias in this audience.
Yeah.
The fact that so much of the catalog did get above 50%. Good point. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And let's talk about and all but 2 of them were Gary songs.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Ouch.
Apologies to Gary.
There it is.
How many say why?
I really like Extreme.
I do too. I'm going to see him in a few months.
And Beautiful Girls. Yes.
I really like Take Your Whiskey Home. There is no reason why this one should be higher than Panama.
Oh, we love us some Extreme on this podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Got the Chazzatar dancing.
Yep. Where does Beautiful Girls rank? Where should we put that one? Mark's ready to quit the podcast.
Which one? Yeah.
Girls is at 45.
Really?
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite songs.
It's only 5 below 51.
That's crazy. That's a quintessential song.
And
my God.
1 below Jump. I love it. Jump made 40.
Jump.
Which,
my
look,
God.
I get it. Is it overplayed? Yeah. I mean, it's the most played Van Halen song in existence. But, like, 44? Come on, it's Jump. And I'll be the first one to tell you, like, it wasn't number 1 on my rankings, as you all know. And we have discussed ad nauseum how we feel about it lyrically, but it's still Jump. You know, you can't. Jump's got to be like higher than 44.
Jump top 20? Would we think? I would put it top 20.
And honestly,
That's 20.
I would be
At
okay.
20?
Yeah, I would be okay putting it at the 20th spot.
So I'm gonna be that guy. There was a period of time where I would skip past Jump.
Yeah.
There was a period where I just said, I'm tired of it.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll cop to that. Yeah.
But I like it. You know, I like the song. But sometimes it's like, oh, I'm gonna skip past it. Why am I right to the next one? But you know, that I think that's maybe to Scott's point, how sometimes somebody finds something wrong with it. But a song. But going back to Beautiful Girls, what I remember most about that song, the real one, not that Extreme thing, was how they used it for a great Adam Sandler, Chris Farley sketch on SNL. Do you guys remember that?
Yes.
Mitsuke?
Yeah. The pool.
But when you go back and watch it now, they play something else. They subbed out the song. They don't have on the Syndicate.
Oh no, you're kidding.
No, you really got to go and look for it.
And it totally worked with the song, the riff and the way it all it was perfect. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
That's too bad. That ruined it.
But you can still find it. That to me was epic.
Yep.
Well, personally, there are 3 songs from Women and Children First that have made the top 15, and all of them above 5150, and I just don't agree with it, with the exception of maybe Unchained. But yeah, no, all that to say, yeah, 5150 definitely deserves a lift of any of these songs. That's for damn sure. Yeah. But also Panama as well. Like, would you put Panama below Take Your Whiskey Home?
No.
Would you put Panama below any of the 1984 songs? We have five in the top 20, or 4 in the top 20, and it's not Panama, which is what we all decided. We voted as number 1. But
yeah, exactly. So yeah, any of those. Yeah, just Panama should be, honestly, the way we're discussing everything and the way things are working out, Panama has a very good shot of needing to be bumped all the way up to the top.
Yeah.
Now, there's other externalities involved. I mean, we're not smoothing out for, what was the participation in the audience, for the week, and, we're not doing it over time. So, there are factors. I mean, again, right, there are things that can skew it week to week. Who was the guest? What was said? How long was the poll up? Things like that. So,
it's a good point, Ed. And, I've been thinking, this has been a kind of interesting experiment to see where they all land here. And I, wonder what are kind of the top line conclusions we can draw from this here, about what these poll voters have been saying about Van Halen. It's really, it's a mixed bag, and it's really contradictory at so many levels. But clearly, I mean, we've talked all about it ad nauseum at this point. One major conclusion is the Sammy factor. The hits did not fare well at all, or at least not as well as they arguably should. The deep cuts really rose to the top in a lot of surprising ways. There are just lots of really kind of interesting things that came out of this experiment that you guys did.
Yeah. Very eye-opening, that's for sure. Very eye-opening. So, I guess if there's no last thoughts about what we're doing, what say we move on there, Corey?
Sure. Was there any other songs that the panel here would like to kind of revisit?
Oh yeah. What say you guys? What songs deserve a revisit and a re-examination?
Learning to See is too high at 110. It should be much lower.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's getting swapped with Up for Breakfast, right?
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too.
Jeff says, Mean Street, Panama, I'm the One, Take Your Whiskey Home, Feel Your Love Tonight, 5150, all should be in the top 10. I don't know who yelled, but...
Santa's in trouble.
Oh, God. He's being attacked by reindeer.
I would say it's interesting that Little Guitars is number 1, but Secrets, which is kind of a similar song, is number 50. And I always thought those two kind of flowed very similar.
That's interesting.
50's that's pretty low for Secrets. And of course, Little Guitars we just discussed. But
Scott's bots were busy that night. They weren't around for that episode.
True. Good point.
Mark, I'll stick with. I'm going to go two that I mentioned earlier. Both Pound Cake and Judgment Day. I think those deserve a revisit, because I can't believe they're not at least close to 90, if not above 90.
Pound Cake currently sitting at 32.
Well, no, that's the Right Here, Right Now version. The album version is at 54.
54, yeah, good call.
At 83.7%? Really? I mean,
yeah.
Or 80% for Judgment Day? Those two are the ones that bug me the most.
Well, again, that gets to what Jazz was saying, right? What are the dynamics of that individual poll? The response rate, other factors that might have skewed it. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, I know somebody...
different poll.
Right, it's not. It's directional at best on an audience that heavily biased toward David Lee Roth. But I know one person who would have a problem with where Girl Gone Bad is at, not in the 90% range. It's what, at 87? Did I see?
87.1. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know somebody who would think that would be up in the 90s.
Yeah, I know Kelsey would
probably take issue with that. Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
But to go back to Pound Cake, 54 for Pound Cake. I mean,
yeah, that's nuts. That's crazy.
That's nuts.
Do you want better or worse? Rather, right now is at 60, and that makes me ill.
Well, again, wait. So Sammy's number is 26, and what is that one? Sammy's first stab at the top. Anything top 30. He comes in at 27 with what?
Summer Nights.
With Summer Nights.
Summer Nights. God, yeah. So what does that tell you? That's the first thing that shows up in this field? Because what's before that? What is our top, the top stacked with Dave tracks looks like?
So
the fact
this is
that
Love,
Summer
House
Nights
of
comes in
Pain.
first.
Where Have All the Good Times Gone? Running with the Devil, Hang 'Em High, Dance the Night Away. You can talk about love. We got some classic tracks above Summer Nights, but
right above it.
How is Hang 'Em High higher than 5150 or Pound Cake or Right Now or Panama? Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
And Corey, I'm trying to remember
Hang 'em high. As a guitarist, I would.
I mean, it's
talk to you
good,
about
but
that.
come on.
Is Pound Cake
it's a
top
ripper.
20?
It's a ripper. Yes, Pound Cake. Yeah.
Spot Tony for
well,
yeah.
How many songs? What did we say? What's the whole catalog?
Well, that we've covered so far, we're at 120 with a couple of repeats in there.
Another thing, Corey, I think I forget how many episodes was it when you started doing the poll, but you went back and released polls, one after the other for those first, I don't know how many it was, 10 or 15.
Oh, there you go.
So some of those, I don't think maybe got the amount of attention and love they deserved.
That's true.
There were some big songs up early, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Hot for Teacher was number 3, but to Scott's point, when we started doing polls, we probably only had like 40, 50 votes on it. And now we're realistically getting well over 100 on the votes, right? So that's why some of these deserve a repoll. That's why I'm putting Panama up. That's why Seven Seals going up, 5150. Pound Cake, I think, should definitely go up for a repoll for sure.
Yeah.
I'll put Little Guitars in.
Little Guitars? Let's see.
I'll get the bots ready.
I'm curious if we repoll Little Guitars. I bet you we're nowhere near 98. I bet you we're like 90 to 92.
Probably. You got to put it up. Little Guitars, and you got to put up for breakfast, the top and the bottom. You have to put them both out.
Okay. How about Take Your Whiskey Home at number 2? 98% even.
Way too high.
That's a good track, but number 2?
No, that's definitive Van Halen. Come on.
Take Your Whiskey Home is definitive Van Halen?
That's hardcore David Lee Roth era Van Halen. It's everything about the band that made them dangerous.
Better than Mean Street.
Come on, boys.
Better than DOA.
It's just as they're you're cutting the same cloth there. These are different pieces of the same fucking
I hear
fabric.
you.
I mean,
my list, Take Your Whiskey Home would be a little bit lower. I would put DOA or Unchained or Mean Street ahead, but Romeo Delight.
You can't put one cloth with the cloth when they don't max up. They're different materials. What the hell are you talking about? Out of here with that Chaz talk.
Oh, spandex. It's amazing.
Like rhetoric for Chaz, like Chazeric. I don't know.
There's a good one here in the poll. Source of Infection, which I think was Sanage's favorite from the album. Yeah, that's like what 80 something here.
Oh, let's even find it here. It's way down there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 91.
91.
Yeah.
91.
So Source of Infection below Big River, below Happy Trails, below Feelin'? Come on.
Yeah. I thought you all liked Chinatown.
I like Chinatown.
We love Chinatown.
It's at 82.
Better than Honey Baby Sweetie Doll or Bullethead. Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. It is, but
no, I'm bemoaning their rankings. They're way too low. Both of them. Honey Baby Sweetie Doll, fucking Bullethead. Those are brilliant.
Where is?
I like Honey Baby Sweetie Doll. I know I differed with Mark on that one.
It's perfectly fine. Where
it's at 100. It's above Dancing in the Street, and It's About Time.
Oh, yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
That's
it
bullshit.
shouldn't be above Dancing in the Street, but
no, it should not.
No.
Really? A lot of people will say
Dancing
Dancing in the Street is the worst song Van Halen cut.
Oh,
I know people say that, and as it's been pointed out many times in the chat, some people are allowed to be wrong.
Exactly. We play that song live. Everybody fucking dances. I'm going to tell you what, audiences love that song. Everyone knows that it's Van Halen. No one even, I mean, these days, that's like the only thing that they'll say. They won't go back any further than Van Halen. Like, oh, yeah, that's a Van Halen song. Like, well, actually, you know.
See, I think David Bowie and Mick Jagger before I think Van Halen on that one. But
that's true.
What?
Because when they cover something,
David Bowie and Mick Jagger, they did a cover of Dancing in the Street that was
bullshit.
better.
Yeah, guys like us might remember that one. But
with the most ludicrous video. That video.
Right?
Oh.
Hey,
but
Johnny
the shredded
Bean.
version is so much
Welcome,
better.
buddy.
Johnny.
Love Johnny Bean. We're kicking around some songs on our poll, Johnny, that we think should be ranked higher or lower, and we're currently debating "Dancing in the Street." Are you a fan of "Dancing in the Street"? Chaz says up. Everybody else, I think, says either down or right where it should be. It's currently 101.
No, I think "Dancing in the Street" should be way up.
Way up.
Yep. All right, Mark.
Yeah,
and
should
I
do
are
better.
in.
Should do better.
There you go.
Okay.
Yep. Fucking A.
Above "Feel So Good." Above Eagles Fly, I guess, is a Sammy track. Above "Can't Stop Loving You."
Which one?
"Can't Stop Loving You."
No. What above? What's the song?
Dancing in the Street.
Dancing in the Street. Yes. Totally better than this.
I would put "Dancing in the Street" above. Well, here's the thing.
Top
I
20.
think "Can't Stop Loving You" should be above "Tattoo" and "Without You." So
these are pretty close for me.
"Dancing in the Street" definitely belongs, I think, above those. So, but I wouldn't put it above "Can't Stop Loving You" though.
I really like "Can't Stop Loving You." I may be in the minority on that one. I think it's like the perfect late 80s, early 90s pop ballad. I think it's perfect. But I want to shout out Connor Burton, who gave us $5. Thank you, Connor.
Thanks, Connor.
Love Connor. He says he wish he was there, but he's getting dinner with a client friend. I'll be watching, though. Perfect, buddy. I can't wait to get Connor's takes on some of these songs. Connor's a really cool dude. So thank you very much for chiming in the chat. Kevin Brown says "Dancing in the Streets" is an awful cover of an average at best generic Motown track, and that's kind of where I land.
Oh, you suck. No, man. It's fucking classic. It's brilliant.
Classic.
Dave was right.
I wouldn't give a shit about the song if Van Halen didn't cover it. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Ed
Yes,
did
exactly.
it's different music than the
Dave
Motown
was right.
version.
Dave
Ed
was
completely
absolutely right
rewrote
about
it.
the song. Yep. And they did a great job. I know Eddie hated playing it, but you watch the video of him playing it, you can't tell he hates it. You know, you can never tell he hates it. He's always smiling.
Well, that's
and
Eddie.
playing, but
Whenever he was playing, he was happy. But yeah, the
I know,
brothers were not a fan of "Dancing in the Street." Our good buddy Johnny Bean in the
fucking
chat.
brilliant.
He likes the Van Halen version. That synth was going to be an original, but Ted wanted it for the cover. There you go.
Yep.
And Kevin Brown just straight up says, "Worst song in the catalog." Straight up.
If you guys know the band
Yeah.
the Struts did a cover of Ed's version of Van Halen's version of "Dancing in the Streets."
Oh,
not
did they?
the Motown version. Yeah.
Oh, I got to check
Excellent.
that out.
Cool. Got to check that out.
A lot of
I'm sure it's excellent.
I don't want to speak for our good friend Chris L. from Pot of Thunder, but I know "Dancing in the Streets" is one of his most hated songs in the Van Halen catalog as well.
Sweet, sweet.
I think he's going to be on the Diver Down show, which should be really a lot of fun.
I mean, all right, I'll die on that hill alone.
Yeah, no, you're not alone, man. No, Dave was right.
It's like
Great song.
Chaz and I in the trenches defending "Dancing in the Street."
You and your foxhole buddy over there.
That's right.
Crowds love this song.
All right, I want to go to Scott Monroe because Scott Monroe knows the Van Halen catalog and our rankings better than anybody. Is there a song you think specifically needs to be revisited? We should put out a new poll for either higher or lower.
Well, one we actually haven't talked about, Corey. I know it's one of your favorites, "Best of Both Worlds."
Yes. Love "Best of Both Worlds." It's my favorite track.
I would
off
list the same
5150.
reasons as I did for 5150. Top tier. Where is it? It's behind 5150, isn't it?
It is. Yep.
Yeah, it's 2 behind it. It's 42.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
46%.
That's an easy 90%er. What are you people talking about?
I am inclined to agree.
It
You
just
are
doesn't have
so
a
right,
hard
my
edge,
friend.
you know?
It doesn't have a hard edge. On 5150,
Yeah.
this is probably the hardest
Get
song
him,
on the
Corey.
record.
Get him.
No, I don't think so. I think "Get Up" is probably the hardest song on that record.
Well, it's close. Yeah, "Get Up's" pretty good. But
Yeah.
come on, "Best of Both Worlds" rhythmically, like that chorus, the harmony,
Oh, it's
chorus,
a brilliant
man.
song. It's just what I'm
Harmonies.
saying, like,
the
what would a rock
dance, the
era...
walk. Come on.
No, yeah, the
could
walk
never.
across the stage and all that, the shuffle, like the 5150 shuffle, whatever they did. But, yeah, it deserves to be higher. It just had great crossover appeal, too. It really broke them huge as Van Hagar. This was like a big, massive part of that, that whole era, this whole album, right?
Yeah.
God. But this song in particular. Yep.
I tell you what, we had a vote here for Fools. Fools comes in at 62 from Women and Children First. What do you guys think about Fools? Is 62 a good spot for Fools?
I think so. I mean, it's 82 points. It got 82 points. I think it's, considering the rest of the catalog, I think it's right where it belongs.
It's a solid score.
Yeah, it's hard to argue
it's a good
that one.
score. No, it deserves it. I was going to say the Best of Both Worlds is like a song I could hear Roth doing that one.
Not as well, but he could do it.
He could do it.
I mean, Fools is pretty fucking good. 62, I don't know. Is it better than Good Enough right now? Stay Frosty, Can't Get This Stuff No More?
I don't think it is. But
it's not better than Stay Frosty. No.
No?
Well, I would agree with Chaz on that one. I don't think it's better than Stay Frosty.
Not better than Finish What You Started.
And here's one in that same area there. She's the Woman. You know, we haven't had great things to say about A Different Kind of Truth so far, but I would argue, for me, that's the top of the album for me right there, and I think that should be a bit higher.
I would agree. She's the Woman is my favorite track on A Different Kind of Truth, yeah. Sitting
I was pleasantly surprised by it when I was a guest on that show.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think, you know, of all of the old demos that they redid, I think they really captured it on that one. Yep. You know, they got it. They nailed it.
You would say that She's the Woman's the top of that album?
I would say so. And I would say, I mean, where's this sitting? 81%? I mean, that's approaching 90% for me.
Yeah, it's 81% right now. I would put it close to 90% too. It's my top track from A Different Kind of Truth. But don't listen to me. I also think Tattoo's a pretty good song. So I know I'm probably in the minority on that one, but I really dig Tattoo.
No. Tattoo's a great tune, man. It was one of we played it in my cover band. People were looking at us like, oh, is that Van Halen? Nobody knew it was Van Halen, but it's one of those ones where it's familiar enough. People were, grooving along.
And that's one that I think is too. Is 70% right? Probably.
Yeah. But 90%. I don't know that one's wrong. Yeah, I know that it's wrong.
How about Mean Street? Because Jeff Brewer's in the chat. We all know what Jeff Brewer thinks of Mean Street. Holy hell, he never lets us hear the end of it. Mean Street is currently number 3. He thinks Mean Street is too low. How about Mean Street at number 3?
Mean Street is too low at number 3?
Yeah, he'd probably put it at number 1. Jeff loves Mean Street.
It could be a number 2. I'd buy that.
Okay.
I think it's fine where it is. Actually, I think 3 is pretty generous for Mean Streets, but it is a really good song.
Yeah,
so
it's great.
I would swap it with Unchained myself, but just to piss off Jeff more than anything. Mean Street top 3?
I don't think Mean Streets is better than Panama, though.
I don't either.
So, that's the thing. It's like these rankings are so screwed up because all these songs that deserve a boost means so many have to come down.
Damn. Well, you just threw down some shit. So is Mean Street better than Panama? Fuck.
I put Panama ahead of Mean Street. Mean Street to me, it's at 96.7. I put Mean Street at 94, which is still a really good that's like a top 15 track.
Yeah, I would go 95, and that's still pretty good. But yeah, Panama is still several notches above it, I think.
I agree, and I would put Unchained, even though Jeff is going to literally hunt me down and shoot me. I would put Unchained slightly ahead of Mean Street, but
I can't disagree with that. Yeah.
I would too, but not by much, but I would just a little, maybe one after the other.
And it's a little bit of mood. I mean, Panama's kind of a party song, and it gets you going with energy. Mean Street's angry.
Yeah.
It's when you're pissed off about something and you put that on, and it's like, you want to fight or something,
Oh,
yeah, just,
for all occasions.
Well, and what swung me on it was I just remember in high school when I figured out how to play it, and we were sitting around in school and somebody had a guitar and I plucked it out and started doing the slow part and everybody knew immediately what I was playing. It was like, yeah, that was pretty cool. Whereas Mean Street, no, not the same reaction. Yeah.
Not quite an icon.
All right, well, Jeff had to clarify it's fine where it is. He was just kidding. So
all that for nothing. Jesus. Oh.
He just loves busting my balls because I put Unchained ahead of Mean Street. And actually, on the ranking show, Unchained finished 1, Mean Street 2, and he would have flipped those. And it was actually a mistake from our good friend Sean McGinnity, who accidentally inputted his rankings in wrong. had he done it the way he wanted to, Mean Street probably would have finished number 1.
So all this, Corey and Mark, makes me wonder, for your eventual rap show, are you guys going to attempt to come up with a top 10, top 20?
We are. Yes. Yeah, I think we're going to do a top 10 for each of us. And we'll see how close.
You're going to fucking rap? You're going to rap it?
Season 3 rap. We're going to wrap up the Van Halen catalog.
I thought you guys were going to write a rap.
Hip hop.
I thought Mark was going to bust a rhyme.
We are white and we are old. We are not going to be rapping anytime soon.
All right.
Holy hell. No, that ain't happening.
Crossing over beyond. Van Halen did not go there. No.
I'm going to write a rap just for your show, Rush.
My name is Corey, and I'm here to say
bones,
that
baby.
Panama's great in every way. See, I can rap.
Is that your Mick Foley impression? What do you say we wrap this up, Corey?
Let's do it.
All right. So I guess we're going to put out a poll. We're
going to put out several polls, I think, for the songs.
Polls?
Yeah.
All right.
Damn. What's the final list? Did we have the final list? Did we get that?
Yeah, we got to do Panama. We got to do 5150. We got to do 7 Seal. I think Up for Breakfast for sure. Little Guitars for sure. Anything else you guys want? I think Pound Cake should definitely get especially to Brad's point, Pound Cake should get a revote, I think.
I thought we said that one. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Without you.
Corey, is there a catalog podcast for the Rolling Stones? I don't know if there is, but there should be.
There should fucking be.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Man, that podcast would go forever.
I'm seeing them on Monday.
Are you? Good.
Hot damn.
It's the first concert actually I ever saw was Steel Wheels, but I'm taking my boy and we're going to go see him on Monday in Orlando.
Excellent.
Hackney Diamonds.
I saw them in Vegas a couple weeks ago.
How was it?
It was fantastic. I was actually in pit on Keith Richards' side.
Oh.
They had like a runway going, and I was like in the front row of the runway while Mick was so much energy. It was insane how much energy that guy has.
That's great.
I thought Ron Wood slowed down a little bit I saw him at SoFi in 21. I thought, and Ron Wood carried that show. Mick carried this show. I mean, Mick's the one who's elevating everybody.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I saw the last Charlie Watts show. That was
that's something.
That was what was it? The 19? Yeah, it was the last show of the 19 tour. That was it's exciting stuff. We need to do a Stones podcast. You can do that for a decade.
Yes.
Right? Hey, let's do it.
Yes.
That would be great.
Do it to it.
Stones are better than the Beatles. Come at me.
Fuck. That could be fun.
I respect them
Where's
both, but
Brown?
I agree.
Where's Kevin Brown?
Kevin had to log off. That's why he said that.
Did we get Dancing in the Streets? Did you get that?
You want to do Dancing in the Streets?
It's got to be voted again. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Are we do them all at once, or are you going to stagger them out over a period of time?
You know what? I'll stagger them out through the week. How about that?
Perfect. Yep.
1, 2, 3.
We have until next Friday because we're doing next week's show live on a Friday night. We're doing Diver Down, the ranking show. So
stay tuned for that. All right. Well, how about we put an end to this conversation for now, because I'm sure it will be brought up again, because as I said, there's just too many songs that deserve, I think, a change in the rankings, or at least a little bit of a little tinkering here and there. But it's not really up to me, and it's not up to Corey. It's up to you guys, the listeners and the voters. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of this. Corey, why don't you tell them, while they're thinking about re-ranking, where they can find some like-minded podcasts if they enjoy the sort of things we do and talk about?
All right. Well, it's time to talk about some podcasts. First of all, this summer, you want it. Manimal, a first watch podcast coming out sometime this summer. We're 4 episodes in. I tell you, it is quite the fucking show. But before then, check out our friends at The Ultimate Catalog Clash. That's myself and Kevin Brown. Currently this season, we're breaking down the first 20 years of the Foo Fighters. Having a lot of fun with that one. Kevin Brown also does a show called The Tom Petty Project. Currently, he's breaking down Wildflowers. Great album there. And then with his buddy Randy Woods, they do a little show called Seaside Pod Review, talking all things Queen. Then we have our good friend, the sexiest man in podcasting, Scott Haskin. He does a show called Dry Heap, the Magicians Podcast. Then we have Nate and John at the Deep Purple Podcast, The Simple Man at Skinner Reconsidered, Cherry, T-Bone Mathley at T-Bone's Prime Cuts. He's back from a lengthy hiatus doing new shows. Check that out. Then we have Riot, Sabbath Bloody Podcast, Paul, Joe, and David at In the Lap of the Pods, Andy and Matt at Hawk Binge, Eric and Jonathan at Maiden A to Z, Daniel and Josh at Diary of the Madmen, the Ultimate Aussie Podcast, Ben and Sam at University Speaking, the Red Hot Chili Peppers Podcast, George and Hattie at the Judas Priest Cast, Clay and Rye at North by South Podcast, Greg and Jonathan at So Far, So Pot, So What, Quinn at Volume for All, Savnik, Steve and Mark at the Rock Roulette Podcast, Chaz and Greg at Regarding Lulu, Chaz and Schatz at Rush Rash, Chaz and Wolfie at Regarding Roger, Chaz and Scott and Wolfie regarding Van Halen 3 coming very, very soon. You don't want to miss that. Then we have the Rewind to 1984 podcast, the Sean Geek and Fast Red podcast, the DLR cast, the Bogus Oda Show, Booked on Rock with the legendary Eric Senich, You're All Doomed, a Friday the 13th podcast, Spinning the Wheel podcast, Dissect That Film, Three's Company 2, our rewatch podcast, the Nerf Herder Council, Talking Into Infinity, and of course, Pod of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting. And Connor Burton in the chat says, Foo Fighters, really? What's next? Nickelback? Not with Kevin Brown as my co-host. He would not talk about Nickelback if you put a gun to his head.
How dare you, sir?
Wow. Foo Fighters and Nickelback in the same sentence? My God, sir. You have some explaining to do.
Ouch.
You should have been at the Butt Rock show we just did. You would have had a grand old time there, Connor.
Oh, if you haven't seen these cards of Mark out on Facebook, you gotta go look at his fucking social media. That stuff is hilarious. That you posted. Yes.
I can't take credit for it. I didn't make them.
It's brilliant.
But I do love that they've made them. I want to thank everyone on the panel here between Chaz, Charles, Brad Gould, Michael Griffith, Scott Monroe, and they call him Tim. No, only I do. But Tom Armbruster making an appearance there. Thank you guys so much. And everybody in the chat, you lurkers, you contributors, you trolls, even though we know that's totally you, Chaz. Yeah, nice try. Yeah, thanks for the wonderful show. Yeah, good job. I know that's you, Chaz. I know it's you. You can't fool me. You can't fool me anymore. Anyway, but no. We're grateful for everyone. We're grateful for everyone to keep it up. Stay with us. We're not done with the show yet. We still got quite a bit more to do in this iteration of the podcast, and we will do more going forward. So please stay tuned. As always, podcastwillrock.com, links to all the socials, our merch store, get you some merch, get you an Apologies to Gary shirt, and maybe we should make an Apologies to Eddie shirt too. I don't know. I'll leave that up to you, Kevin Brown, since you're the one that gives us such great designs. But go on over, check all that out. All the backlog episodes are on the site as well. So on behalf of our panel here and Corey and myself, we are, and the podcast will rock, and we will rock you later.